Right now, let's remember, of course, the popular TV series Prison Break. Well, if you don't, doesn't matter. Don't worry. The story we have for you is one for the ages, and just how it happened is still a big mystery. South Africa's Michael Schofield, also known as Thabo Bester, made waves around the world after news of his elaborate escape from prison. From faking his own death, replacing the body with that of someone else who had died outside the prison, to skipping the country, to being arrested again. It's an interesting case, I think, for many people to be following, trying to understand how it all happened. Those who helped plan the escape are back in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court today. That's where we're going to go across to senior reporter Silindelo Masikane. Slee, good morning to you again. And it is always going to be one of those cases when there's been a bit of a break like this. I'm going to ask you to take us back for just a second. What happened last court's appearance and what we're expecting for today?
Well, what we saw in the last court appearance, Gareth, was much of perhaps of what we're going to see today in terms of very brief proceedings. But what's going to be very interesting about the appearance today, of course, is that we have 12 suspects expected back here in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court. More than half of those who've been accused of aiding Thabo Bester's escape from prison are out on bail. So from around 8:30 this morning, we will be seeing at least 7 suspects walking through the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court doors, making their way to the courtroom for that appearance. Now, we do have confirmation that at this stage, we are expecting Thabo Bester to actually make a physical appearance, and this will be the first physical appearance that he makes since his rearrest and deportation from Tanzania. You would remember that in the past couple of appearances, he has been appearing virtually from the Kgosi Mampuru prison. That means that either overnight or sometime from early this morning, Thabo Bester has been making his way from Pretoria to Bloemfontein. And you would also remember that Dr. Nandipha Magudumana is also being held at the Kroonstad prison, and she too will be making her way from that prison that is about 2 hours away to the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court. And of course, this appearance then will make it the first appearance that the pair is essentially reunited since their deportation from Tanzania. Now, outside court, we are already starting to see some kind of law enforcement or security upgrades in terms of securing the court precincts. Just to my left, Bra JK will show you that we are seeing a number of the Metro police officers being stationed around the courthouse. There's actually another vehicle in front of me, and of course behind the courthouse as well, we are seeing some security measures being tightened. But just to give us a brief overview, perhaps, of what we can expect, I am joined by legal expert from the UJ Law Clinic, that is Mr. Alton Hart. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Maybe let's just talk about the fact that we have 12 suspects in the dock. We are expecting brief proceedings, but possibly, they won't be as short, given the fact that we have the accused with different legal representation. At the last appearance, we had postponed due to the fact that there were further investigations that were going to be made, and that there was the possibility of at least 3 more arrests in this matter. We are back in court, but those arrests have not been made. What are the chances then that we will be possibly seeing another postponement for further investigations? And perhaps, would we see some opposition from the defense in terms of another postponement?
Good morning, Slee, and good morning to the viewers. I don't see that the defense can object to a further postponement, because the case is still sort of half in its infancy when it comes to investigation. There's, as I said on previous occasions, I still believe there's a lot more accused that needs to fill that dock. And I think I'm looking at more or less 25 to 30 people should be standing there for us to have an explanation as to how this escape happened. So for me, them objecting to a further postponement, I don't even think the magistrate will entertain it. Yes, we'll have a lengthy sort of a postponement, because you need to inquire from all the accused attorneys, because there's 12 of them, that find out exactly what is happening. if there's others that is most probably going to pursue other avenues for bail where bail was rejected, or are they going to take up? So there's a lot of things that will be happening. And we know from previous appearances, Thabo Bester raised his hands on a couple of occasions when he appeared virtually trying to say certain things. And I think maybe today there will be a little bit of action in the court as to him raising things, because I think at a previous occasion, he tried to raise identity because his identity was never confirmed with him. I could see that. So there's a possibility that we'll see there's a little bit backwards or forward, but I think they can most probably sort that out in chambers if they are clever enough to avoid unnecessary lengthy court proceedings today. But further investigation is on the table and a postponement is on the table, irrespective of what's happening outside in the investigation and also people exercising their rights.
Let's talk about the fact that we have more than half of the accused out on bail. There is a possibility, of course, that those who are still remanded in custody could apply for bail, in particular Dr. Nandipha Magutumana. But we have seen that she's opted to go to the higher court to fight her deportation, claiming that she was abducted. What are the chances, perhaps, that she could be granted bail if her legal team chooses to apply for bail for Dr. Nandipha?
I think when we look at her specifically, bail for her would be a tough ask because she showed already that she can actually exit and enter countries at will. It's a no-brainer for her. So the prosecution would say that she's a flight risk and she has access to a couple of passports which they say that they found in her possession. So she has that enterprise to actually find ways of moving in between borders. So I don't think at this point in time it would be wise for her to even ask for bail. I think the best bet for her is to still pursue the avenue in the higher courts where she's appealing the decision that was made by Judge Loubser not to declare her deportation unlawful. Let that process play out, and maybe the higher court will find in her favor, and then we will have another set of facts in front of her. But asking for bail at this point in time, I don't think she's going to get it.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. That is legal expert from the UJ Law Clinic, Mr. Alton Hart, just unpacking what we can expect this morning. We are expecting a postponement, but of course we are expecting that this will be the first appearance where we have all 12 accused so far back in the dock here in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court, and we will be bringing you those proceedings live as soon as they begin.
Yeah, absolutely. Silindelo Masikane, Alton Hart, thank you very much as well, just setting the scene again as to what is expected in court and also where we are at the moment.